Hello to the side and back. My name is Tokiku Uzuru, also known as Toki, and in today's video I will be talking about ideas to release when becoming a witch. But before I get into that, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and put any type of questions, comments, concerns, or ideas for future videos in the comment section below. And now that we got through with that, onto the video. Now, a few weeks ago I ended up watching a video talking about things that this other person stopped doing in their craft. And it's not I stopped doing it because it's wrong in general. It's just they stopped doing these things because it didn't fit their craft anymore. And that video had me thinking about so many different things. And the one I will be talking about today is things that I had to learn while going through the process of becoming a witch. Number one is people telling you what to do. Basically, oh, you have to do this, you have to learn that. Witchcraft is a practice, it's a craft, and depending on exactly what route you want to go down, you don't have to do anything. The only rule, if there ever is a rule in witchcraft, would actually just be respect. Not just respecting that other people have different opinions, but respecting maybe their boundaries, and then respecting your own boundaries, and then also respecting the earth any way you feel is best. But that's like the only thing you would have to do. Everything else is simply up to you. The second one is always be of love and light. Do harm to none. There are so many different paths when it comes to witchcraft as a practice for there to only be witches of love and light. You got chaos witches, gray witches, death witches, then you got curses, hexes, jinxes. Overall, there is no one true way to practice witchcraft. There's also a bigger issue of always trying to be of love and light, which I will actually get into a different video that will be talking mainly about toxic positivity and how that can hinder your growth. Number three, there are tools that every witch needs and you need to get them. The basic answer that I came to is no, you don't. It kind of goes back to the first one. You have to use these items. You have to learn how to do cartomancy. You have to be able to read runes. You have to use so many different tools that you end up having to get from this specific store. And no, witchcraft started as a broke craft and it will continue to be a broke craft. If you want to spend more money on tools and fancy tools and things, you can. There's nothing that's against it, but the basic answer is no, you don't. The fourth one, I am an expert on my craft. Depending on exactly what path you're going down, you will never be an expert at your craft. You will always learn something new. You will always end up gaining new information that will change the way you're thinking about things. Things usually are not set in stone when it comes to the craft. Number five, you can't just dabble in witchcraft. You have to go all in. You have to be all serious with it. Anyone who has been on my channel for long enough or has known me for long enough might understand that I will rarely ever be a serious person. Sometimes you do want to try something out to see if it is for you, and if it doesn't work out for you, then you can go ahead and just leave it alone. However, if you want to go ahead and do things like hexes and curses, if you want to hex someone or curse someone, it's best to go to a professional witch who has their expertise in hexes and curses and how to make sure that they don't end up being sent back to you. Then as long as you respect the craft for what it is, you'll be fine, depending. Number 6, choose a path and stick to it. I did say earlier in the video that nothing is ever set in stone, which also means that your path specifically is never set in stone. I originally started deciding that I was going to try out researching the path of a green witch, because I felt maybe if I do information and I share information on like witchcraft paths that have nothing to do with harming other people, maybe I wouldn't be so bad, right? However, realizing that one, being a green witch meant that I had to be more comfortable with taking care of plants, and 2, I cannot remember the magical meanings and correspondences of a lot of different herbs. I constantly have to check things that I wrote down, things that I saved in like specific folders from on my Instagram page. I started learning more about the elements, specifically the element of fire, and how you can use fire in your craft a bit more, and I'm more connected with the element of fire than anything else. This is all just me saying that your path is never set in stone, so even if you choose a path now, there's no guarantee that you will stick to that said path. And the last one, number 7. Don't even bother with aesthetics. I specifically wrote this one down because there's a lot of people that are like, that tell you not to worry about aesthetics, but then there are also those very mean people that decide to tell you that if you do try to fit the quote-unquote witch aesthetic, that you're not a real witch. I like the cottagecore witch aesthetic. I also like the dark academia witch aesthetic. And to tell me that if I try to keep to those if I personally try to keep to those aesthetics with my personal craft, then I'm not a real witch, makes me even more angry. So although no, you don't have to specifically fit a certain aesthetic, and you don't even have to worry about aesthetics if that's not something you want to do. But you can't let people tell you that just because you're deciding to fit the witch aesthetic, that you're not really serious when it comes to witchcraft. The overall arcing theme when it comes to this video specifically is that this path is a personal path. It doesn't have to be a solitary path or craft, but is definitely a personalized, customized type thing. And allowing everyone to try to control your specific path will not help you in your own personal spiritual growth. And that is all for today's video. With that all being said, it's time for me to get into the stereotypical YouTuber outro, where I, as a stereotypical YouTuber, would ask you to do the following. So for today's tea, we have a simple black tea. Don't forget to hit the like button if you liked the video. Subscribe to see more videos on paranormal, mystical, magical, occultist stuff, or anything else that happens to do with my personal nature-based spiritual path, otherwise known as witchcraft. Any type of questions, comments, or concerns, or ideas for future videos can be put into the comment section below. And now that I'm done with that, my name is Toki Uzuru, also known as Toki, and this is Toki saying Toki out.